Diana Chepto as well. So those are 137.
Yeah, now 6 kilometers there on the start line of the 6 kilometers, which is going to be 3 loops because 1 lap is there. They have started. The race has already started.
And you know what's interesting? I'll talk about the starting point. Instead of the usual metal railing starting point, they had wooden poles because they wanted to give it a more rustic African feel. And that is our first bend. We're just about to get to the man-made hill, which will be at around 500 meters from the starting. And I don't know, did you ever do cross-country, Bungay?
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to do it. And I know it's one of the course actually for the cross-country is a little bit tough. As you can see on our screens, there is a man-made hill, which they have done it exactly because cross-country is basically about running across what is required is to have a natural feel when you're doing the
and Judy Kemundo, bib 114 and 118. So we're going to see how well they'll sustain that. Up the haystacks, they don't seem too challenging for them. They just breeze through them.
Yeah, because basically that is all about cross-country. The haystacks, you're supposed to give the barriers. It gives an athlete the chance to be, what I would say, endurance, because cross-country, it gives you a lot of endurance. And remember that most of these athletes that run the cross-country is in the preparation for the summer season, where they will be competing in the Diamond Leagues, because we know majority of the athletes also, those who are running the 6 kilometers, they do the 5,000, they do the 10,000. Some of them actually run the 1,500 money.
And a lot of the athletes that I spoke to earlier on today were saying that the reason why they take cross-country so seriously is because it builds their endurance and strength. And for some reason, really when you have successful cross-country athletes, they go on to have very good success on track as well as on the road. So this is critical in the development of an all-rounded athlete.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance because as a professional athlete, they need to be able to compete, to have a competitive state all the time, and therefore, for them to be able to do the cross country, it gives them a chance to maintain, the form. As you can see, actually, the scenery here is very, very nice. We have a huge number of spectators that have come here to watch the race. We know that Eldoret is. We call it the city of champions, where majority of the athletes, they come from here. And that is why you see we have a huge crowd, around the cross itself. And interestingly, Manya, they are able to go through the tent and they have the fun there.
Yeah, because with this edition of Sirikwa Classic, we were promised entertainment like nothing else. So you will be seated right there enjoying your entertainment, and then you get a chance to experience cross-country up close. I think for now we have about 9 athletes in the leading team. Without a specific chasing team, the rest look like they've been spread out now.
Yeah, they are.
And there they go up the man-made hill barrier, and this has one mini hill and then a bigger hill.
Yeah, and at a certain point they should be coming to the water point, where they have to go through the water, and I think we should be they're still ahead. 1 lap, as I said earlier, is 2 kilometers, and for the 6 kilometers they will be doing 3 laps.
Yes, Lois Chepkemoy is also in the leading team, as well as Kemundo Judy and Jemutai Deborah.
Yeah, 9 athletes in front, gearing up for the win. We know very well that these races has been organized, and I think it has got a prize money. That the winners will be able to have. There they come. To the barrier. They have created something like a steeplechase Maya for this, unlike before. We have seen many cross countries, they have the muddy area where they have to go through, and then in fact that's had a lot of challenges where some athletes lose their shoes there, but at least for this one they have made it just like a steeplechase.
Because during the first edition, that is the Agnes Tirop Memorial, there was a mud pool. But I think the course designers decided that we need to chase fast times this time around, and so made it like a faster course. And I find those mud pools very, very challenging. It's incredible to watch them knee deep in the mud and still pushing. Some fall, you pick yourself up and you keep running. That's
Actually,
what cross country is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, actually the big challenge always is in the mud pool. You can easily lose your shoes, and therefore, you don't have time to go and look for your pool and for your shoes. So the best thing that you can do is to run the whole course without the shoe. So as you can see, they are coming now almost to the second lap, and already they are spreading. We have got about 5 athletes in contention. Cross country is always difficult to be able to tell who is going to win, because when you have 5 athletes, in front there, and most of these athletes, they know each other. They know when they are supposed to be making a move, and I think this one is one of those that will be very, very competitive.
That's right. We have about 6 in the lead. I'd say 5 now, because the 5th athlete is break. So we have Jemutai leading at 7:25, and all the way to to Kemundo, and the difference isn't much. The margin isn't much amongst the top, but that should be for lap 1.
Yeah, so there Diana Chemtai is leading at the moment, followed closely by 5 more athletes that are for professional athletes. All of them, they are still in contention, because when you decide to take a lead again, sometimes it becomes a challenge because you become a pace setter. So I think Diana Chemtai, he's doing the pace for everyone.
And Diana Chemtai looks to be in very good form. I don't see her struggling. Could she be the eventual winner of the under 26 kilometer race?
Well, it's difficult to say, because when you have 6 kilometers, you have just done the first 2 kilometers, it sometimes becomes a little bit difficult. And something very interesting, especially with this, we have entertainers just inside the field, where we have the music guys that they can be able to entertain these athletes. And I think, sometimes it gives them a feel that they're not actually competing as such. And when you have fans again, all over, it brings that psyche in an athlete.
That is true. It does feel good to be cheered on, doesn't it?
It does.
You never competed during COVID times. Do you imagine that would have been challenging for you?
Well, I can imagine actually. If we had held this cross country, we are fortunate as a country and the world at large, that we are doing this, without COVID, because you can imagine a cross country without fans, it becomes a little bit difficult. But now we are out of COVID, and that's why everybody is there. We have still Diana Chemtai. Sorry, they just fell down.
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
Lois Chekwemoi
That's
fell,
so
but she doesn't look like that
yeah.
phased her, and she's going at it with Maureen Jepkoech and Lucine Duta.
Actually, that is what happens sometimes. When you are competing and you are running just so close, you are likely to get tripped, and that is something very dangerous. But we are fortunate
that looks
that
like it set her back
running
a bit, right?
Yeah.
So now the competition is between Maureen Jepkoech and Lucine Duta. Still looking very relaxed. Their running looks very relaxed to me. And she might be catching up, actually.
Yeah, Diana actually is coming.
It might be too soon to say Lois Chekwemoi is out of this.
But of course, again, you get you have got that disturbance, and but sometimes if you are in good shape for the cross country, especially, you can still be able to pick up and be able to really run. And I think she looks like she's in a very good shape.
And I think at this point we can tell our podium finishers, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're looking at number 1, 2, and 3. Unless, barring any disaster, I think this is how it's going to play out.
Yeah, looks like both of them, the 3 of them, they are in a very relaxed mood. At least for them, they know each other. They know what time that they're supposed to be making a move. Because in cross country, what is interesting is someone who wins is the one that have got what we call the last kick, the last speed in the last maybe 100, 200 meters. Because if you see the closeness that they are, and these barriers actually if you look at it, these barriers can be a little bit of a challenge, because if you are following someone so closely, you can easily trip yourself, or somebody can trip you, because when you're running and then you don't know when the barrier is coming, it becomes a little difficult. And there they come again to where the fans are so close.
Yes, Jepkoech, Maureen, and Lucine Duta still fighting for first and second position. Lois Chekwemoy actually had a bit of a fall, and so it's good to see her pushing on.
Again, to the hills, the most challenging, that it always disturbs your pace, because as an athlete, you're running on a flat course, and then suddenly, you have a hill, suddenly you have a barrier. So, well, it's the beauty of cross country, but to an athlete, it's a little bit tough. It takes a lot of energy in your body, but again.
And those inclines look very steep. And I don't know, what workouts do you need to do to be able to climb those steep inclines best you can?
Well, I think most of these athletes, they have trained here. They understand what they need to do, and especially when you're preparing for a cross country, you understand the challenges that you are going to face. So there, Lucine Duta taking the lead, and looks like she wants to stretch everyone, because basically that's what you have to do. You have to stretch your opponent, so that when it comes to the last kick, you can still be able to have the energy. And as they in the second lap, they will be coming to the last lap, whereby it will now take those who are, or an athlete that is very ready to be able to win. And I think already, we saw behind there, we have got two other athletes that is closing up. And I think, it's going to be a little bit, it is still difficult.
Yes, it looks like Deborah Jemutai has overtaken Lois Chekwemoy. It looks like maybe she just doesn't have enough left in the tank. So now what we're dealing with is Lucine Duta in first position, Maureen Jepkoech in second, and Deborah Jemutai has come in to take into the third position, leaving Lois Chekwemoy, who led for most of the race, behind.
Yeah, and Monica, looks like she's starting to pick, and that is the challenge, because we have some athletes sometimes that they run from behind and then they just start picking, and I think that is what is happening with Maureen Jepkoech, starting to pick again. Remember, Manya, that when an athlete is coming from behind, they uses you as a pace setter, and it is far much easier for that person to be able to come and overtake you. So as you
Very
can
much
see,
signature Ethiopian running, huh?
Yes.
Yes, so now we have in first position Lucine Duta. In second position, Maureen Jepkoech. And now in third position, Deborah Jemutai. Not much separating them.
Yeah, not much actually.
Just a margin of 6.
As you can see, yeah. As you can see, the three of them right now, looks like they're in contention for the podium, because
I may have called it prematurely, yeah?
Yeah, because when you are remaining with only one lap, it will be a little bit difficult to say, who is going to win. But the way it looks right now, I think those three are in contention. It is so difficult, as you rightly say, that you might have called it early.
Yeah.
But anyone can be able to win among the three. That is Deborah Jemutai, Lucine Duta, and Lois Chekwemoy.
And from the way they're running, their form, their body language, as a former athlete yourself, do they look like they are struggling?
Well, I think when you could look at them, they are very much relaxed. Cross country is not like running in the track, whereby you see an athlete maybe struggling and all that. But cross country, you assume that you are just doing your training, despite the fact that, of course, this is a competition. But again, it is still sometimes difficult to tell who is struggling, who is doing what, especially when it comes to cross country. But the most important thing is to understand your opponent. You understand the strength of your opponent, because if you know that maybe your competitor or your opponent is going to be fast in the kick, what is best is to stretch them. Cross country, by the way, Manya, they do what we call fartlek. Fartlek is where they run fast and then maybe slow to die at your opponent, and especially for those ones who can be able to maybe have the last kick.
Lucien Dutin now in first position.
Yeah, and they are coming to the last leg of the race. That is the last loop that they are doing right now. And as it looks, we have Dana Chamtai and Lucien Dutin in contention. Looks like Maureen is a little bit behind, and therefore it takes the two athletes. Something very interesting is that, as I said earlier, a little bit hot for these athletes, but again, they are used to it, because when you are training and when are you going to run the race, and then you have to train in the same conditions, so that it gives you a chance that you will not really feel so much when you come to the real competition. So, as we can all see, the two athletes.
Both Lucien Dutin and Maureen Jeb-Koech in contention for first and second position. And they have more or less been leading from the gun.
Yeah, that is what is very important for cross-country. You have got to be in the front, and that's why, as we said earlier, from the beginning, when they started, you have to be in the first group, because picking from behind can be a little bit difficult. So I think for that they took the lead from the beginning, because they have got to be in a comfortable position that you understand your competitor.
Over the potted hurdles, very, very unique. Running into the tent for up-close viewing of the fans that attended this second edition of the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country World Athletics Gold Tour. And now Maureen Jeb-Koech is definitely in first position, still fighting it out with Lucien Dutin in blue.
Well, looks like the exchange is between Lucy and Maureen, and I think the two athletes understand each other. They competed actually during the national cross country that happened about 2 weeks ago, and that is when they were able to get a chance to be invited to the Cold Tour of the Sirikwa cross country. So they know each other again.
Right.
They have got to make a mark, because most athletes, they need to understand that in this cross country, during the second edition of cross country, Sirikwa cross country, I was able to win the race. So it puts a profile for an athlete, and therefore that is why you see the competition between Maureen and Lucien Dutin.
And Lucien Dutin is only 17 years old. Maureen Jeb-Koech, 18 years of age. When did you start competitively in athletics yourself?
Well, I think majority of the athletes, myself, I started at the age of 18, that I was able to represent the country in the junior championships. And as you can see now, they are coming towards the finish, and therefore Maureen Jeb-Koech is now beginning to stretch.
Lucien Dutin in first position, giving it her best last kick.
Yeah, it looks like it's between Lucien Dutin and Maureen Jeb-Koech, but still very difficult, because again, if you see Maureen still trying to push, but looks like Lucien Dutin looks like she's won the race.
Indeed, in first position, Lucien Dutin, time of about 21:15, 21:14 that is. Maureen Jeb-Koech in second position
At
21:17.
21 minutes and 17 seconds. for Maureen Chepkoech. Actually, the two have battled it out from the beginning, and there
is Deborah Chemutai. Deborah Chemutai manages to accomplish a podium finish after coming from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. She has just come from behind and still being able to make to the podium.
In fourth position, Martha Chalimo. Sixth position, Lois Chekwemoy. I think the fall really...
for Dana Chekwemoy, she had a chance, and it took a toll. But again, she has finished fourth. That is a try for an athlete, because she will remember that, I still finish fourth. So there we have Lucy Nduta, has won the second edition of the Sirikwa Golden Tour cross country here in Eldoret. I've got to remember that we last year we had winner, I think Lois Chepkemoy was the winner of last year's edition or the first edition, and today has gone to Lucy Nduta.
I believe in the first edition of the Agnes Tirop Memorial, Purity Chepkirui was actually in first position, 2049. In second position was Lucy Nduta, 2109. And in third was Faith Cherotich, 2118.
Yes, slightly slower today.
Yeah, today was a slower...
just slower, a little bit slower.
Slower race, but a faster course.
Because again, remember that the weather can be a little of a challenge when it is hot, because I remember that last year it was run on a cooler condition, and therefore they gave faster times. So, and something very interesting, Manya, to mention is that most of the athletes, they have to finish, because time is very important for you as a professional athlete. There you are, the best scenery you can get in Eldoret.
Here at Lobo Village.
Yes.
Kapseret.
We are here at Lobo Village, and you can see how beautiful it is, how the course is. There you can be able to look at the course of the cross country itself. Really breathtaking.
Really, really, truly breathtaking. And Agnes Tirop, who we attempt to honor today as one of the talents to get from Uasin Gishu, one of the best talents that we've had, and her life unfortunately ended before we lost her before we should have.
Yeah, I mean,
and she hails from this same county.
Absolutely, yeah, because she was one of the upcoming ones. Had a very good future, but then again we lost her. There was just the start.
Looking back at the start.
Yeah, how it all started, and the best ones always make sure that they are in the front to be in a better position, especially during the curves where it gives a lot of challenges. Something very interesting, Manya, to mention is that, in the curve, sometimes people ask themselves, is it better that you go from outside or you just go immediately?
What is the answer?
Well, it depends with the athlete, because sometimes you try to go from, to go in the immediate pen, and it can be a challenge. It depends with individual athletes, and those barriers actually, has given these athletes work to do.
Was there a lane that you used to prefer?
Well,
back when you were running 800 meters?
Unfortunately, when you're running 800 meters, it is the decision of the race organizer to where they put you. So for this cross country, there's no lane to run. That is the beauty of it, just you and your training. And I think, we give it to the organizers, Manya, that they were able to put different setup in terms of the course itself, because we have never had in the cross country whereby an athlete can run through inside through the tent. It brings a kind of an atmosphere that is different that we have witnessed in this country.
It's an energy that's hard to capture in images, but indeed it is quite something. And there she goes, Lucy Nduta, running for the finish line. In first position, followed closely by a fighter, Maureen Chepkoech, only 18 years of age.
Yes.
1 and 2 podium positions. Very, very unique steeplechase, the way they designed it. So there's no water, but there's sand. What do you think is the effect or the difference?
Well, of course, I mean, it gives an athlete, you know, a stop or something like that. So I think there we have the results. Lucy Ntuta, Maureen Chepkoech, third, Deborah Chemutai, Martha Chelimo, coming fourth in 21:52.
Diana Chepkemoi in fifth. Here are more results from the under-20 women's 6-kilometer race. Yes, so Lucy Nduta's time was 21:14. That is the official time, 21:14.
Yeah, and remember, you know, there is prize money to be won, Manya, here.
Yes, indeed.
And that is why every athlete makes sure that they compete to be in the prize money.
Yeah, because for position 1, Lucy Nduta gets to walk away with 155,000 Kenya shillings. In second position, Maureen Chepkoech with a time of 21:15 gets to walk away with 124,000 shillings. And in third position, Deborah Chemutai, who fought from the back, gets to walk away with 99,000 Kenya shillings, just about 100,000 Kenya shillings this Saturday, February the 4th. They are a couple coins richer.
Well, you know, I mean, that is something that has become, you know, athletics has become a profession, and therefore, at that age, it is a good pay for the day. Of course, again, most athletes, you know, they use that for the training. And therefore, we were talking about the barrier, you know, what they have just created. And I think, you know, it's about making the cross-country more exciting, and especially for the athletes, because maybe when they were running the national cross-country, they had the mud that they were able to do there. Now they have something like steeplechases. So it brings a lot of excitement when it comes to cross-country. I remember, Manya, that cross-country started way back in 1903, and until in 1973 is when the then IAAF, which is World Athletics at the moment, started putting in one of their calendars in 1973, I think so.
Indeed,
and we have a number of athletes, especially renowned Kenyan athletes, that have been able to win in the past, and they have been battling out with Ethiopians. I don't know if you have some names of Kenyan athletes, you know, that have won in the past.
The legend, John Ngugi himself, right? Paul Tergat, Faith Kipyegon, who's going to be running later on today.
Okay, we are going to under 20 women, 6 kilometers. I think on our screen was the results.
That seems like an error.
Yeah. Well, that was what was going on. So I think Paul Tergat won in 1995, 1996.
So these are just some of the highlights of the 6-kilometer under 20 women, the junior women's race. And this is how it began. On to the first bend. Still running fairly clustered together.
We're setting up for the award ceremony for the under 20 girls.
On their way to the second obstacle, which is a man-made hill. And there is Lucy Nduta and Maureen Chepkoech fighting it out for podium positions.
Yeah, there was the beginning. So we were saying that, you know, in the past we have had Paul Tergat, who was able to win 5 times. We have had John Ngugi, who was also able to win 5 times. But then what broke the Kenyan cross country, you know, was the entrance of Kenanisa Bekele, who was able to continue and won 11 medals in the cross country, you know, therefore surpassing Kenyans, because for a very long time, actually, we had dominated. But again, still, you know, Kenyans have a huge number. They are in the podium, the winners.
Here's a medal presentation ceremony.
And the reigning 800 meters Olympic and world champion, Emmanuel Korir. In third place, we have Deborah Chemutai. Makofi tafadhali, tuwapigie makofi. Last year, Deborah competed in the same category and finished 23rd. So she has made a massive improvement this year. Congratulations, Deborah. In second place, we have Maureen Chepkoech. Makofi kwa Maureen. Maureen has graduated from the under-18 category. Last year, she competed in the under-18, and she was a second. So she's maintaining some form here, we can see. There's a trend developing. Congratulations, Maureen. And the winner of the under-20 girls in this edition is Lucy Nduta. Congratulations, Lucy. Last year she was second, so well done on going one up on the podium.
Most of the athletes, they have come here, the retired athletes are here, to give support to those ones who are running. So there we go, the winners of today's 6 kilometers junior women, with Lucine Tuta, Maureen, and Dana.
Congratulations.
All the glory goes to Lucine Duta at only 17 years of age, doing amazingly well. And these are the people who are going to cross over to the seniors and hopefully make us proud.
Absolutely. You start from the juniors, and they now move to the seniors. And if you look at the majority of the top athletes, in this country and even around the world, most of them, they start as juniors, and then they graduate now to the seniors, because that is where they learn the few things, the few tricks that they need to be able to apply. As you see, the winner of today's race, she was second last year, losing to her, and she has come here to win the race. So it's a progressive way of an athlete. And there we will be having the 8 kilometers under 20 men race. That will be 4 laps for the men's, and we should be getting those who are going to run for the under 20.
Very interesting shots, aerial shots.
Yeah, there we
of
have
Lobo Village. And here's the start list. We have Sam Cheptegei, Franklin Saitoti, Johnson Mugeni, Linus Kasikar, Kiplagat Temoy, Justus Mwasia, Kenneth Kiprono, Yona Kimtai Belio, Felix Boera, Andrew Kipto. That is the start list, well, part of it. Kiputo Ryan Kimboi, Joel Loshakuru, Vincent Kimayo, Shadrach Kipyegon, Dennis Kiputo, Dennis Kip Kimboi, Dennis Kororia, Made Abdi, Kibet Ndiwa, Ezekiel Kemei, from Uganda, our East African neighbors. And Kenya has been receiving a lot of competition in the middle and in the long and middle distances from Uganda, to the like of Kiplimo, Joshua Cheptegei.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, the organizers have really made very well to be able to bring some of these athletes. Some of the names we have Jeremiah Wangui, Emmanuel Kosiei, Shetra Kipto, Rafael Kolian, Ruben Rob, Michael Manela, Samuel Kibati Wajiro, Shetra Rono, Cornelius Koskei, Evans Kiprop, among the... I think something to mention is Emmanuel Kosiei has a personal best of 14:49 in 5,000 meters that he was able to achieve last year.
And Samuel Kibathi Wanjiro is the reigning national cross-country champion, so he's a clear favorite in this race. He had a time of 23:10.
Yeah, another note about name is Felix Boera with a personal best of 3:43 in 1,500 meters, 3,000 meters. He has got 15 that he put in Kasarani in 2021. And he participated in the Kenyan trials for the World Under 20 clocking 3 in 1500 meters. And he has decided to run here. Some of the people, Stephen Mudini, Kandia Kip, Titus Kemboy, Edward Mutunga, Vincent Mutai, Timothy Kipto, Solomon Mutuku, Gilbert Rono, Hezra Ontuza, and Enoch Kales. Some of the names and those who are in the start list. Yeah, they're under 20 kilometers. Under 20 men.
Francis Charito, Nicholas Kimtai, Roger Skipto, Charles Nzioka, Felix Kipiego, Gilbert Kiprotich, Simon Kigen, Kiptanui, Gideon Kipngetich, all from Kenya.
Yeah, it will be a 4 laps full-up run, and there is on the start line for them to start the race.
Very interesting design of the starting point with our coat of arms. If you look keenly, you'll be able to see the coat of arms of the Kenyan national flag with the 2 crossed spears and the shield. We're just about to start the 8-kilometer junior men race.
Yeah, the officials, they just have to give them instructions on when they are supposed to start. And hopefully that, when it comes to the under 8 kilometers, we hope that, we are not going to have the same incident that happened to Maureen.
To Jepkemoi.
Yes. Jepkemoi. So that at least, may the best winner be able to win here. Again, it's very windy. Manya, kind of like windy, hot. But the beauty of it is that when it's a little bit windy again, you don't get, you don't have a lot of heat. You can imagine that if it was not windy, it could be a little bit tough for the athletes themselves.
8 obstacles that they have to run each time they make a circuit. They make a lap around the course. 8 obstacles. And so they will go around that course 4 times. That is 32 times they have to deal with those obstacles.
Absolutely.
These men are made of some strong stuff.
A little bit tough. There they have started already the start of the under 28 kilometers. Here at Sirikwa Golden Tour Classic cross country. And looks like they have started a little bit fast. For the men's, they have really started very fast. Looks like they will be looking for fast times. Probably they will be able, maybe beat last year's time, but we will be able to see at the end of the race. Of course, you said earlier, Manya, that the organizers wanted to have a faster race.
A faster course.
A faster course, yes.
Right. Still fairly clustered together. And round the bend.
Yeah, I think for the men, you will find that most of these athletes, they will still be clustered together, maybe for the first, second lap, but by the 3rd lap, they should be able to separate each other, and we will be able to maybe find that 5 or 10 athletes the same way we had for the ladies. And they are coming to the first jumps. The haystack that they have put as a barrier for the cross country. Very interesting, Manya.
Very interesting. I don't know if it's as interesting as the potted hurdles as well. That also seems very interesting to me. The steeplechase jump with the sandpit. And this might be the sharpest turn.
Yeah, the sharpest turn. Actually, that one is one of the sharpest that we have here. And, it's very important for you to be in a better position when you are coming to the pen, so that you don't have to use a lot of energy going round the bend. And the best way is always when you're in the front, you have a chance to be able to run better. So there we are.
In first place at this time is Gilbert Rono. Gilbert Rono running out first. In second position is Johanna Erot, I think closely followed by Amos Kipkirui. And Simeon Maiwa, some of the leading runners at this time. Gilbert not in first position anymore, so now I can see Simeon Maiwa.
I think we are going to notice a lot of changes in the front row, especially for those who are leading. We will have a lot of changes between the first kilometer probably to the 8 kilometer, that there would be maybe a few number of athletes that would be in contention. But at the moment we have almost like 15-20 athletes still in the leading group. And actually the way it looks here is that the race is going to be a little bit faster because these guys looks like they know, and for a professional athlete they are able to watch what the others were doing. I think for these guys they have watched how the ladies run, and therefore that is why they are making their pace a little bit faster. And as you can see on our screens, you know, they are really moving very fast. Still a huge group in the leading team. Still difficult to tell who would be the winner of this race. However, we have those notable names, the veterans in this race, and probably they know that they have got to be ready.
Gilbert Monos took back the lead. He had been left behind for a bit, but now he's back in the front position, fighting it out with Shadrach Rono.
Yeah, there they come, almost at the final of the first lap. 3 laps to go. As they are
Joel
still
Loshakuru stretching out, as well as Jeremiah Wangoi Kamau, who is now in the lead. Jeremiah Wangoi Kamau is about 18 years of age.
Yeah, Jeremiah deciding to actually make a move now and try to stretch everyone. And I think this will be definitely a faster race, faster than what we have seen before. As you can look already, you know, they are making stretches here. Interesting that in the first lap, going to the second lap, we have about 5 to 10 athletes that are already in contention, and still Jeremiah is trying to really stretch everyone. But of course, you know, the others, that is Gilbert, Shadrach and Joel, they are all there in the front to make sure that, you know, they don't allow Jeremiah to make a huge stretch.
Last year, the winning time in this category, the under 28 kilometers, was Shadrach Chirchir with 23:55. In second position was Gideon Rono with 24:02. Dennis Kipkiru came in third with 24:10. Benson Kiplagat, who was a favorite then, actually dropped out at some point. I believe he fell and needed some paramedic attention. But that's how these things go. You can never really tell.
Yeah, it looks like Jeremiah Wangoi, you know, is in a form of his own, and that is why he has the guts to take the lead, to make sure that he stretches everybody. And especially still on the first stages of the race, could be a little bit of a challenge, but again, it depends on how prepared an athlete is.
taller than his competitors. He seems to me like he's fairly tall and going through those haystack hurdles, obstacles with great ease.
Yeah, that is the advantage that you have when you're tall, and especially when it comes to those barriers and such like, it's just almost like kind of you're running, not actually have to jump over the barriers. So, and, coming to the second time for the sharpest bend that we have in this course, and making sure that he stretches. However, the others as well are making sure that they are not going to allow him to make a huge stress, a huge distance, because for cross country, if you allow someone to be able to make longer stretches, then it becomes a little bit to be able to catch up. I think already they are in the second lap. Already 8 minutes 15 seconds has gone. They still have about maybe 15 minutes to go.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
he has decided to take front running to the next level and really just has daylight between him and the second place person. And I'm just wondering if this will be sustainable for him with this overhead sun.
I think for the most fans of athletics, this reminds me of the period of Paul Tergat, whereby he could just run in the front alone, especially during the national cross country, or even sometimes during the world cross country. He does the same. And I think Jeremiah made a decision that the best way that I'm going to tackle this race is just go and run in front, make sure that I stretch everybody. And I think for the people who love cross country, this is an opportunity that they can be reminded of the past.
Of the greats of the past. Paul Targat, even John Gugi would run out in front. It didn't really matter where John Gugi was, whether he had shoes or not. That was some legendary talent.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, they made cross country to be what it is. And we are very fortunate as a country, Kenya, to be able to host a golden. So we have
up the potted hurdles.
And there he comes to the tent, whereby he gets close to the fans, and at least he will get a lot of cheering there. His fans would cheer home. So there 1-0. Jeremiah in the front.
Jeremiah Wangoi Kamau.
Yeah, we should be able to let you know who are the others who are following just shortly. But Jeremiah is the one that is already leading and making sure that they are doing stretch. There they come to the hills that they have made.
Yes,
and interestingly, they have done two hills in the same place.
Yeah.
Unlike what we have seen in the others, it's just one hill. But there you have
a smaller hill.
Yeah, and then the next
onto
one,
a bigger one.
And immediately after that.
Course designer. I don't know if LOC chairman Ibrahim Hussein was involved in this design, but it makes for for most interesting watching.
Yeah, there 1-0, really making sure that he stretches, not looking back, understanding that, if I am going to slow, I may be caught by the others. But as the race looks like, coming to finish the second lap and to start of the third lap, it's really at 11 minutes. And they are halfway to the race. 1-0 leading.
Yeah, I believe we made a mistake. That is Samuel Kibathi Wanjiro, who is a national cross-country champion. His form looks very, very good. So we apologize for that. That was not Jeremiah Wangoi Kamau, but Samuel Kibathi Wanjiro. He's a young man of about 17 years of age, just about to turn 18 in a few days' time. This month, in the form of his life, managed to run not too long ago 23:10 at the National Cross Country Championships in the under 20 category.
That is what just happened 2 weeks ago during the National Cross Country. Samuel Wanjiru had won the race, and he got an invite actually, because majority of the Kenyan athletes who are competing here had to get the invitation to the Sirikwa Classic, must have run the National Cross Country and be able to get a chance. So there we have Wanjiru, we have all the rest, Rono, Kororia, Ngetich, Boera, Kemboy, Kolian, all of them in different positions of the race. As you can see, there is a separation of about 45 to about 20 seconds from 1-0 all the way to number 31, who is Kakuru. So Wanjiru making sure that he does exactly what he did during the Nationals when he won the end 8 kilometers, and here he has come to make sure that again he puts himself in the history books of cross country, especially as a junior. Of course, he will have a big chance next year to be able to run as a senior.
Yes, indeed. And I wonder what his speciality is. Is he a 5,000 meter guy or a 10,000 meter guy or 1,500 meters? It would be interesting to see how his career progresses, because there's a lot of strength in those legs. I think we're looking at something special.
Yeah, he's a specialist in 5,000 meters. He was able to compete also during the under 20.
And he just glanced at his watch. He looks like he's very much in form and just very aware of what's happening.
Well, most athletes actually, they look at the watch because they have got to understand their bodies, and they can be able to understand that can I still be able to push? Again, it will give them a chance, because if an athlete wants to attain certain time, you have got to look at the watch at certain barriers, at certain stage, so that you can be able to understand. So
very
there we are.
Running, because he's also glancing behind himself to just see how much, if there's an impending threat or not. But I hear some coaches really don't like that. They want you to just focus, look forward, keep going.
Yeah, because what is important, sometimes it is very important that you compete with a watch, and therefore you don't have to look back and see how much distance you have between yourself and the second person who is following you. But as we can see, Samuel Wanjiru,
Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru,
yes, is really making sure that he takes this race, making sure that he's going to make a very good time. We are in the third lap, 1 lap to remaining. For us to understand that if he's going to beat the time that was run last year, that was 23:55
by Shadrach Churchill.
There you go.
And these are some huge crowds that we're seeing here today.
Yeah, interestingly, this race actually was hyped, and I think it made everybody. Remember again, this is what we call the city of champions. The people of Eldoret love athletics whenever there is any event, and most people, they are fortunate to witness an international event going on here in Eldoret. And that is why we have a huge crowd. You know, it has attracted so many athletes. By the time that you have over 400 athletes registering to be able to run here, definitely has brought a lot of fans. And the beauty of it is that, you know, across the field, there's different things that is going on in the field there, and therefore it brings a lot of entertainment. So there, when you're coming to the so-called steeplechase in bracket in the cross country.
And we also are privileged to be hosting 39 foreign athletes for the Sirikwa Classic. And I feel like if you're going to run a cross country anywhere, run it at the home of champions.
Well, I think most athletes, I can tell you, Manya, you know, for those athletes who decide to come and run this race, for them, they have got to understand the difficulties that they will have, because most of the athletes may be coming from Europe, and especially I can feel for those athletes who are coming from Europe, that they have been training in low altitude and they come here to altitude which is above 1,600 meters above the sea level. Becomes a little bit difficult for them. But again, there, 1-0. I think he has, looks like he has decided to relax a little bit, no longer pushing, because he has realized that there is nobody just behind to give him a challenge.
Literal daylight between him and the person placed in second. Out of the camera's view, that's how fast Wanjiru is going. Up the obstacle, the man-made hill.
Yes, I was mentioning earlier that, you know, the athletes who come from Europe and they come and compete here, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them, because this is high altitude, it is hot, they are coming from winter. Suddenly, you know, they have to run in the hot season. It's going to be tough, but again, you know, that's something that they need. So there we have Kimngatich as number 2, Kimayo, and Diwa at number 4 behind. And then we have Kiprotich at number 5, Kipkoskei, Ezekiel at number 6, Mosha, Samrono, Kororia, Mudini, Korir, all following in that order. However, we will be able to see the second and third and fourth, what could be going on behind there. But as you can see, Wanjiru Kibati is in a class of his own, having given the second person almost like 200 meters, Manya. This is something that you don't see in cross country.
He's in the form of his life. Should be interesting to see what else he chooses to do this season.
Yeah, because it looks like he's
17 years of age.
Only 17 years of age, only running alone. This is very interesting, something that has not been seen in anywhere in the cross country, whereby a leading athlete, you know, gives a distance of almost 100, 200 meters. You don't easily see this, and it tells us Wanjiru could have prepared. And by the way, you know, making sure that he won the race during 2 weeks ago during the national cross country. It looks like he prepared, you know, especially for cross country, for him to be able to do this in Sirikwa.
So then my question would be, is the duration of 2 weeks, would your typical athlete feel like it is good to go again? Because, like, for example, we don't have the people representing the national team at Bathurst, Australia, later on this month. We don't have them here today. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what happened is that the Athletics Kenya decided to to choose the team that will represent the country. And again, if you look at 18th of this month is when they will need to be competing. So for those athletes, there's no way that they could have been invited to compete here, because again, they will be a little bit tired, and their mental preparation is on the world cross country. And therefore, of course, I mean, it's a pity that we have this guy displaying what he's displaying today, and he's not in the team. Because I guess most people here today, and even the Athletics Kenya would be asking themselves, we should have this guy, he should be in the team.
Should we start a petition? The Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru petition.
Well, again, there was rules that was put, and I think the Kenyan athletes who are representing the country, because of the visa issues, they had to be selected a little bit earlier than usual, because basically the Kenyan team is always selected during the national cross country. But for this year's, the team that we have is was selected a little bit earlier. So they are coming to the finish. He's coming to finish the race. Some few meters to finish.
And last year, the time to beat from last year is 23:55. It might be a slower race during this edition, but still world-class running that has been exhibited by Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru, running out in front, solo front running for literally all the race. This is a cut above the rest for sure. Winning the cross-country championships, the nationals, just a few weeks ago, and still in the form of his life. This is incredible to witness. Here's a steeplechase sand pit obstacle, and he's over that with a lot of ease. Another man-made hill. And there could be 300 meters plus between Samuel Kibathi and Kipngetich.
Yeah, there, Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru coming to win the second edition of Sirikwa Classic World Cross Country Tour. Samuel Kibathi, they are winning time of 24:20, winning with about time of 24:20.
Flash time of 24:20.
Got to remember that the weather here is a little bit hot, and that's why we have. And there, Kipngetich coming second, coming to finish the race. Yeah, winning in 24:42, 20 seconds behind the winner.
Gideon Kipngetich in third position, I believe.
Second position. Yeah, there we have position 1, 2, 3 already crossed the line. Number 5, this should be
Gideon Kiprotich.
Coming in 5th place. So there, Vincent Kimayo, 2nd place. Ezekiel Kipkoskei, 3rd. The 3 finishers is Kimayo. These athletes actually, as we can see, they have done some work, because it's a little bit hot here. However, it is windy, but that gives the times that we are able to witness today. However, we have
about a 40-second margin between the 1st and 10th placed athletes. But today was Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru's day. Yet again, the national champion
and now
is now the Sirikwa Classic gold medalist.
Yes.
Fantastic front running, solo front running, from the beginning to the very end.
To the very end.
At only 17 years of age.
It tells you that Samuel prepared for this. He knew that there's a season for the cross country, and therefore I need to make sure that I am ready for this. We should be able to bring you the results
And some highlights. This was how it began. And at this point, Samuel was still tucked in. He really had to make his way, get out of the cluster, but he did it with such finesse. Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru is the gold medalist for this edition, the second edition of the Sirikwa Classic World Cross Country Tour Gold. And Kenya has been privileged to host a number of international events in the recent past.
Yeah, actually, and because you have got to remember that in the cross country, you know, the gold is the top event in the World Athletics calendar, and Kenya is hosting one of the toppest. And as you rightly said, Kenya has hosted the World Under-20 World Championships. Currently, they are hosting the Golden Tour of the track and field events, and I think it's the Kipkeino Classic. Yeah, and I think this year it will be promoted most likely. Yet to confirm, it is going to be a Diamond League, still the Kipkeino Classic.
I don't think it will be a Diamond League this year. Still on the Golden Tour, maybe next year. It
means a lot, you know, for the country of runners to be able to host such kind of event. And I think something very important is to have the crowd, you know, the people who love athletics. There you have Samuel winning today's race with ease. Manya.
With so much ease. Samuel Kibathi Wanjiru is the star of this Sirikwa Classic, the second edition. At only 17 years of age, he is now the national cross-country champion as well as the Sirikwa Classic winner. And these are the results for the under-20 men. 8-kilometer cross-country. I'm sure those will be coming soon. But there you have an aerial view of what the Lobo village looks like. We are in Uasin Gishu County, a place known as Kapseret. This is the venue of the Sirikwa Classic, the second edition. The first edition was called the Agnes Tirop Memorial Classic, named after one of the daughters of this soil. Born in Uasin Gishu, represented Kenya for many years and did very well as a junior athlete till her demise at age 25. Uasin Gishu is indeed the home of champions.
Well, actually, what is interesting to just mention about the Eldoret itself, you know, Eldoret hosts majority of the Kenyan athletes, especially those who come from Elgeyo Marakwet and Nandi. Most of them, they have decided to come and reside in Eldoret, and therefore, even Agnes Tirop actually came from Nandi, but of course, you know, moved to Uasin Gishu to reside here. And if you can mention the highest concentration of athletes, name it, Olympic champion, world champions, world cross country champions, they all, we have the highest concentration in Eldoret, where majority of them, they make a decision that, okay, it's time to move and maybe move to Eldoret. And what is interesting, the place where it is hosting today's event is owned by a former marathoner, a great marathoner, Hussein Ibrahim Kipkemboi. He's the owner of this place, and he has done a lot actually to be able to put up this kind of field. One that is on international standards when it comes to the distance that they have to run, the loops that have been done, the course itself, the way it has been designed, you know, is on another level to the international standards, and we have got to give it to the organizers, the meeting directors, and everybody else who has contributed to the success of this event. And we are yet to have the 10 kilometers senior men and women should be coming shortly. But there you are, you have the aerial view of the course that is hosting the Sirikwa Golden Tour Classic Cross Country, second edition. Those are the aerial view. Very beautiful. to be able to run inside there, man.
I've seen a couple of cross-country courses, and this one looks pretty special to me. And sometimes you find that even on the tour, because Kenya is the 14th leg, I believe, of this World Athletics Cross-Country Tour Gold. It's a 14th leg. I've seen like the Cinque Malini, I hope I pronounce it right, in Italy, and they actually go through a windmill and some literal steps, you know, like a staircase, just a few steps. But this looks pretty darn good to me.
Yeah, you know, mentioning that, you know, that is the beauty of cross-country. If you look at each of the cross-country tour events that we have in the world, the organizers always makes different barriers, different challenges for the athletes. And I think it brings the best out of an athlete, that you can as well go through different difficulties and you can still be able to perform. And I think today's this event already, or this track or this course has already met a lot of differences that they have done than what we have witnessed in the past, because we know, you know, we have had different barriers, the waterfronts that you have to go through, where so many athletes. There on our screens we have the results. Samuel Kipati Wanjiru winning in 24 minutes 21 seconds. Kelvin Kiprop coming second with time of 24:41. Gideon Kingetich coming in third place with 24:46.
Yes, indeed. Those are the podium finishes. In fourth place, Kibet Ndiwa. Fifth, Gideon Kiprop Kiprotich in sixth, Vincent Kimayo, Evans Kipkusgei in seventh, Dennis Kororia in eighth, Shadrach Korono in 10th, and Kipkoech Korir with a time of 25:28 in 10th position. Those are the results for the under-20 men 8-kilometer cross country at the Sirikwa Classic.
Could we have the medalists for the under-20 men's race? Presenting the medals for the under-20 men's race, our chief guest, Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and the Arts, Honorable Ababuna Mwamba, escorted, of course, by Athletics Kenya President, Lieutenant General Jackson Tuwei, and our host governor in this event, Jonathan B. Your Excellency, Pia Wewe Karibu. In third place in the under-20 men's race is Gideon Kipngetich. Makofi tafadhali. They've been running in the hot sun. Let us appreciate their efforts. In second place is Kelvin Kiprop. Congratulations, makofi kwake. And the man of the moment in the under-20 men's race, Samuel Wanjiru. Congratulations to all the medalists. You're going to ask the CS and our guests on the podium to please take a picture with our medalists. Of course, also escorting our guests on the podium is the Deputy Governor, Dr. Yulita Cheriot, Deputy Governor of Nandi County. Asanteni sana. We are going to ask our guests to please just stay on. We just like to, the cameraman would like a picture of the. Congratulations to the medalists and everybody who competed in the under-20 men's race. Thank you very much. Yeah, cameramen tend to have want to get the perfect picture. It's to make you look good. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand over the program for a few minutes to the Athletics Kenya president.
Okay, we go to the next stage, and I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of Athletics Kenya and our honors, our international federation, that is World Athletics, to welcome the Cabinet Secretary who has come all the way from Vipingo, and thank him for sparing this time. I know he's been very busy, but he has had a chance, he has taken a chance to come and see us here. And this is great, another great opportunity for us to come and watch the athletes running in the Sirikwa Classic event. This is the second time that we are having, and I'm very happy to see all the people who have come, all the fans, the citizens of Wasingishu, and generally from the North Rift and the whole country, for them to come here to come and support this team and to see that we look at the organization that has been done here. This is an international event, and every minute counts. So we will be very brief because of that, and we don't want to interfere with any international viewing, because that also gives us marks in what we are doing. So thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Let me congratulate those who have won today. I know we still have got two events that are coming, the senior women and senior men. And I'm sure we are all going to enjoy this. So let us wish our athletes well. Let us wish our officials and everybody well. We are also preparing for another event in Australia in the next 1 week. We also pray for that team that is going there. Otherwise, I want to thank the governor of Wasingishu for the support he has given the local organizing committee here. Without the county, I don't think we would have done the much we have done here. So, Your Excellency, thank you very much. We want to thank you for the support that you have given. And we will be here again next year. So let us start preparations so that by next year, They're even better here, but today I saw a little bit of dust, and I think we need to improve this place. Finally, Ibrahim Hussein, this is your property. Thank you very much for this, and thank you for bringing this back to the society. Being a senior athlete, I think we can see what we are doing today. So I would urge all other athletes to do the same, so that we bring this to our society and improve the sport and grow the sport. So with those few remarks, allow me, we have the Deputy Governor from Nandi, Your Excellency, Madam, just 1 minute. Salamu kutoka Nandi, and then we continue because we don't have time. Thank you, Daktari.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Our chief guest, CS Ababu Namwamba, AK fraternity, the AK family, all the sponsors, our athletes, good afternoon and happy new year. I come in on behalf of His Excellency, Governor Stephen Sang, and the great people of Nandi, and we want to congratulate Sirikwa Classics for its first debut, and we look forward to this event growing bigger and bigger. When we were here last year on the Agnes Tirop tour, we saw a lot of potential on these grounds, and we know that there is more that we can do. Count us in as the source of champions. We will participate, and we hope that this is going to grow even bigger. May the Lord bless you, and we want to thank you, Hussein, who come from Nandi. We are proud of you. May the Lord expand you. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Madam. I take this opportunity now to invite the Governor of Uasin Gishu, Your Excellency, tuko nyumbani, tafadhali salamia watu yako na sisi zote. Asante.
Asante sana, Mr. President. Our guest today, chief guest, CS Sports, Ababu Arab Namwamba, the President, Wana Hussein, and our athletes. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. We are so grateful. On behalf of Uasin Gishu County, I wish to invite all of us for coming to see these beautiful sports, which we are using as a brand to Uasin Gishu County. And Wana CS, Uasin Gishu County is a home of champions, a city of champions. And everybody who runs faster than any other will settle here. We know Hussein came from Nandi, but is now settled in Uasin Gishu. We want to say this sport has given us a name, and we would wish that we move on like this many years to come. The name Sirikwa has some historical attachment that the people who inhabited Uasin Gishu, maybe Trans Nzoia, Nandi, and the northern part of Rift Valley, were a people called the Sirikwa. Now, because you want to take care of that name for historical purposes and for future researchers, we will say thank you so much for coming up with this name called Sirikwa. Asante sana Bwana Hussein. Allow me now to welcome Bwana CS, a friend of this county, and he looks so sportish today, and he will have some rest kidogo. I'll make sure I beat you. Thank you so much. Makofi kwa waziri.
I just want to say I'm very delighted to be here on behalf of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and the Arts, and on behalf of the government of the Republic of Kenya. I want to thank Athletics Kenya for this second edition of the Sirikwa Classic. And as a ministry, as government, we are very proud of the Sirikwa Classic for many reasons. But the main reason ni kwamba hii Sirikwa Classic is the only gold level race on the whole continent of Africa. So hakuna nyingine kama hii Africa mzima. In fact, it is only one of 14 in the whole world. There are only 14 such races in the whole world. So I congratulate World Athletics for bringing this one here. I congratulate my very good friend and a national hero, Ibrahim Hussein for availing this facility for us to do this here. Hussein, you are a hero. You made the Boston Marathon synonymous with your name. Today, you are a member of the Hall of Fame in New York. We are very proud of you. But we are even more proud of you that you are sending a strong message to other athletes that as you run, as you compete, as you conquer the world, remain rooted at home and invest back home and lift others to follow in your path. Thank you very much, Hussein. Namalizia na kusema, our sportsmen and women are the goose that lays the golden egg. These are the people that brand Kenya better than anything else. Kenya's #1 export to the world is not tea, is not coffee, is not tourism, it is athletics. That is our #1 export to the world. That is what brings the highest honor to this world. And we must therefore take better care of athletes. We must make sure that we build good facilities. And I want to announce that we are developing a master plan that will see us invest in elite international level facilities for our athletes and to develop our sports. Let me conclude by saying that I am really happy that Athletics Kenya is leading the world in what we are calling sports for climate action. Munaona vile dunia inawaka kuwaka. Mvua imepungua. The issue of climate change is real. And World Athletics knows that Kenya is a leader in sports for climate action. Congratulations, Athletics Kenya. Juzi tumekuwa hapa na rais wa World Athletics, Lord Sebastian Coe. Tumemwambia mambo mawili. La kwanza, Kenya will win the war against doping. We will win the war against doping. And we have declared an all-out war against doping. If you are out there and you are involved in doping, we are on you. We are on you like a brick wall. Number 2, we told Lord Sebastian Coe, Kenya is the elite of the elite in athletics. And so we want to bid to host the 2029 World Athletics Championships here in Kenya. Asanteni sana. Congratulations to all winners, and may Sirikwa Classic grow to be even bigger, better. The ministry will support fully. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
Not what we have witnessed as a country. So there we are coming back to the 10 kilometers senior women.
And this is a start list for the 10 kilometer senior women cross-country race. Caroline Chepngemoy, Joanne Chepkemoi, Sheila Chepkirui, Purity Chepkirui, Jacqueline Chepkoech, Anne Cheptegei, Dorothy Kimutai, Winrose Chepkorir, Purity Chepkirui, Rebecca Chepkemoi, bib number 239, all representing Kenya, Betty Chepngeno, Joylene Chepngeno, Naomi Chepngeno. Those are a lot of Chepngenos. Vikoti Chepngetich, Irene Cheptai, Zena Chepto, Jacqueline Chirono, Fancy Chirono, Marceline Chirono, Dorcas Cherop, also all from Kenya. Teresia Cherotich, Vivian Cherotich, Purity Cherotich, Juliet Cherubet, Lydia Cheriot, Mercy Cheriot, Vivian Cheriot, Rebecca Chesang, Gladys Chesir, Svenja Clemens from Germany. So we have a foreign athlete here, along with...
Yes, we have Oliver Gatt from Germany, Esther Chakopitz from Germany as well, Valentin Jebet, Sheila Jebet, Edina Cheptok, Judy Jelagat, Fislin Chepkosho, Rosalinda Chepketer, Jacqueline Chepkoech, Phyllis Kirop Chepkoskei. Chepketer is from Bahrain.
But Kenyan born.
We have Mercy Chepto, Sena Chepto, Sheila Cherotich, Teresia Cherotich, Tabitha Kamau, Millicent Kimboy, Cynthia Kenti, Marion Kipor, Winnie Kimutai, Faith Kimudai, all in the starting list, all from Kenya. We have again Winnie Chiposkei, Benson Kiblagat, Quilin Kiprop, Chamila Kipsiror, Faith Kipyegon, Lofisa Kisa of Uganda, Julieta Kieng, we have Judith Kieng, Lynn Klein of Germany, and then we have Christine Coleman from Kenya.
Gladys Kwamboka, representing Kenya, Doris Cherop Lemgole, Kenya, Cynthia Limo, Evangeline McKenna, Lynette Masai, Maruasa Mismas from Slovakia, Lois Mwakisha, Jadida Wanjiko Mugure, Daisy Cherotich, Rose Chalimo, Kenyan-born Bahraini athlete.
Gladys Kwamboka, Doris Cherop Longole, Cynthia Limo, Evelyn McKenna, Lynette Masai, Marisa Mismas from Slovakia, Lois Mkakisha, Kenya, Jedida Wanjiku. Those are the start. There they have already started. The 10 kilometers has already started, senior women. And already looks like it's going to be fast race, as we can see, and I think very interesting that we can see in the track that they have been able to water it, because otherwise it was going to be a lot of dust. So there you are, the senior 10-kilometer women already have started.
And in the lead position, I believe, is Chepkorir Winrose, representing Kenya, closely followed by Sheila Chepkirui. And Chepkirui Sheila is one to watch because she was second place at the National Cross Country Championships, and she's a Commonwealth Games 10,000 meters bronze medalist. That is a caliber, that is a depth of the field that we're dealing with this afternoon.
Yeah, majority of the athletes who come and compete here, since they don't do anything else, especially for the track athletes, if you find most of the athletes that run here are those who run in the track, and since they don't do indoors, the best way that they can be able to remain competitive is to run the cross country, and especially a cross country like this, which is a golden tour among those that are in, and they are in the front leading. Faith Kipyegon is in about third place, now coming to the second place, making a decision that I have to run. I think that should be Faith Kipyegon, and we should be able to let you know. As you can see, there are already about 20-30 athletes that are in the leading team.
Just about to go round the hairpin bend. I was informed by my director that you don't say sharp bend, you say hairpin bend. And it does look like a hairpin indeed. So thank you for that. We learn new things every day. Right by the hairpin bend. Strewn out, but mostly world-class talent.
And Faith Kipyegon has made a decision to be among the leading groups. If I'm not wrong.
She's tucked in at about 10th position, Faith Chepngetich Kipyegon. But for now, in the lead is Faith Kimutai. But not for long.
Yeah, I think we should be able to witness a lot of changes in the first stage. Remember that 10 kilometers is going to be 5 laps of the course. As we all know, that 1 lap is 2 kilometers. So for the senior women, they will be doing 5 laps. A number of countries represented here: Slovakia, Germany, Uganda, Bahrain. A huge number of countries represented in the senior category of women, who are competing today. So they are coming to the barrier, that is the haystack barriers that they have got to pass there. We have Jacqueline in among those who are in front. And we have Chemtai from Uganda also among the front runners. For Chemtai, she's been competing with majority of these athletes. Kenyan athletes out there, and therefore it makes it a little bit easier for her, and she understands. Of course, it's very important that the Kenyans would be able to work together and make sure that maybe if they want to, but of course, I mean, so this is athletics, and it's very important for an athlete to come here prepared and know that I need to win. So there they go to the next barrier again.
Indeed, Chemtai was the 2023 MTN Kampala second place finisher in the 10-kilometer race of the 2023 MTN Kampala Marathon, and she came in third in Uganda's regional cross-country championships in Tororo.
Yeah, there they passed the tent where the fans are just there watching them. Again, they come to the hill, the two sharp hills.
Jacqueline Chepkoech in first position. The Commonwealth Games 3,000 meter steeplechase champion is in the lead, and she's absolutely surging, accelerating her pace. And it's good to see faces from many places. We also have foreign athletes here today competing with the world's best at their home ground. Very good experience, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are Jacqueline Chepkoech. That would be very interesting. I think we are going to witness again what was the 8 kilometers under 20, whereby the winner, Wanjiru, was able to stretch everybody, and looks like Jacqueline wants to do the same by making sure that she takes the lead. Remember that we have got 5 laps to go. We may not call it, an earlier lead or an earlier decision to take a lead, but you can never know. It may happen again. The same Wanjiru did it, and if Jacqueline is in good form, definitely we should be able to witness good times. If you can look at the pace of the athletes in the 10-kilometer women, the pace is a little bit faster. They should be looking at fast times. The weather here is still hot, but the beauty of it is it's windy, so that gives a kind of a reprieve.
And is that Faith Chepngetich Kipyegon in second position? Looks like that to me. This is actually her first cross-country since 2017. And she says that she wants to build endurance and speed before the season begins. We're looking forward to her doing amazingly well on track.
Yeah,
the 1,500 meters, she was just a few microseconds from breaking the world record last year.
Yeah, they are Jacqueline Chepkoech in the first lap with 7 minutes, followed by Faith Kipyegon, actually on the second place. And we have Chemtai, Njogi, Acholi, Kwamboka, Chemngeno, Chepkoech, Njeru, Kipsiror, Chesir, Chepkirui, Nyaga, Kemboy, Chepkemoy, Wahu, Kimutai, Chepketer, Cherubet, all following in that order. However, again, Jacqueline is on the lead, followed closely by Faith Kipyegon, who has not done cross-country since 2017.
That's right. She won 2 cross-country junior titles in 2011 at Punta Umra in Spain, as well as in 2013 in Bydgoszcz, Poland. And she's decided to open her season here at the Sirikwa Classic. And I overheard her talking about how her form is good, her endurance is good, and now she's working on her speed. She is the 1,500 meter world and Olympic champion. Faith Kipyegon Chepngetich is now fighting for first position at the hairpin bend.
Looks like Faith has already taken the lead from Jacqueline Chepkoech. And the two are training partners, so they should be able to understand themselves. And it looks like they are talking in the middle of the race just to say, can we make a move? As you can see, they are really actually talking. I think that is something that is interesting when it comes to athletics,
It's
and where people are able to run and talk to each other.
And in the spirit of sportsmanship, sometimes you take the lead, then you ask someone to come and take over, and you push for very, very good times. Over the haystack barriers, with so much ease. But really, we're looking at the best to ever do it, the best 1,500-meter runner ever. In fact, it's just the world record that she should go after this year.
Yeah, and being able to come here and run 10 kilometers, and not only just competing, but competing to make sure that she's in the podium and probably maybe even to win the race. And I think Faith, the way she's running this race, she's in a form of her own. And it's going to be the best thing, I think, as you rightly said, Manya, that, during the press conference, she said that she wants to build, to use this race as a builder for the summer season, the track season. And I think when it comes to the summer, she would be very much ready, because what she needs to do now after this is to be able to do some few track training, because already it shows that she has a lot of endurance. And already she's giving a distance to Jacqueline, her training partner, from how they started before, and now giving a huge distance again.
And last year, in first position was Joyce Chepkemoi with a time of 34:02. And in second position was Margaret Chilimo with 34:09. And in third position was Jeplating with 34:22. We're looking at different podium finishers this edition. And I wonder how Faith will push it over the potted hurdles. And, Bungay, I'd like to know, what does it take to be an athlete with longevity? Because Faith has been around, was winning cross-country championships as a junior, and is still competing at the very top of the league.
Well, I think Faith is one of the, I would not necessarily use the word, the few very high discipline athletes, but that is what it takes for longevity for an athlete. You've got to be really disciplined, because as a professional athlete, there's so many things that you need to deny yourself when at the age that you're running. Because remember that, athletics or being a sports man or woman, you have got only a few years to be able to run, and therefore you need to put all the energy. You need to make sure that all the time you remain 365 days, what I call it 365 days a year as an athlete. And I think Faith is one of the Kenyan athletes that has dominated, not only dominated the track and field events, but also being able to win medals. Remember, she's an Olympic gold medalist. She's a world champion.
2 times.
Yeah, 2 times world champion. And then again, she's destined, and I think if she runs like this, she's destined to break a world record this year, because it is very important that at the early stage of the race or of the season, you are in good form. So as you can see already, Faith is really, really ready, and they are in the second lap with a time of 12 minutes. They should be running in around 32 minutes. We are really deciding to just run and run alone. No looking back. There are the bends that are there that has been made in the course. There are Jacqueline. Faith coming to the man-made hill on the course of the track. And making sure that she attacks it in the most confident manner to make sure that she makes a lot of stretch.
So she managed to do the first 2 laps in a time of 13:38. followed closely by Yego.
There have been changes in second and third position. Jacqueline Chepkoech has gone to third place.
Yeah, because now in second position is Zena Jemutai Yego. Third position now is Jacqueline Chepkoech. Fourth place is Lemgole. Fifth, Cherotich. Nyaga sixth. Njoki seventh. Kwamboka eighth. Njeru in ninth. Kipsibor in 10th. Jebketer 11th. Chepkoech in 12th. Chesir 13th. Wahoo in 14th. Kimutai 15th. With about a margin of 56 seconds between first position and 15th. Chepkemoi 16th. Kemboi, Cherubet, Mkakisha, Ruto in 20th. Chepkirui 21st. Kendi, Chebet, Cheriot, Chepngeno, Jerotich, Jemutai, Chepto, Rotich. Chepngeno in 30th position. A margin of 1:23 between her and Faith Kipyegon in first position. Chepkemoi, Jebet, Chepchirchir. This is Paris Chepchirchir.
It should be Paris Chepchirchir, yes. And then we have Cherono, we have Mugure, Chelimo, in that order. But something very interesting to talk about is Faith Kipyegon really deciding to make a move and run a race over her own, making sure that she doesn't look back. She's pushing and pushing in every lap that she's going. Seems like she's not slowing. Unlike sometimes, when you are running alone, you get an athlete that makes a decision maybe too slow, that there is nobody that is running the way which we witnessed the 8 kilometer, the under 20 men. But for Faith, she's really making sure that she pushes. And I think something to mention is the training of Faith. She trains in Nakuru. That's where her training base is. With a group of other athletes like Jacqueline Chepkoech that they train together. So they are in the third lap of the race, 2 laps to go. That is 4 kilometers. They have already covered 6 kilometers in 16 minutes and 51 seconds. Therefore, it gives Faith to be able to run about under 30 minutes. So there you go. Faith pushing the race herself.
We're going to get a good time, very fast time on this one. The senior women 10 kilometers race at the Sirikwa Classic cross country over the potted hurdles. Faith Chepngetich Kipyegon, the 1,500 meter world and Olympic champion. And she says that she's here to work on her speed.
Actually, speed and endurance. What is important for these, for the cross country, it helps the shorter distance athletes to build endurance, and I think that is one of the things that helps. Then there she comes to attack the 2 hills. I think so. Man-made hills that will make it a challenge. It slows you actually, in the race. If you look at when they are attacking the hill, it slows you because you are coming with an even base on the way the track is, and then suddenly you have a hill. It makes your legs sometimes, get lactic and get tired.
When I'm running, that is my absolute least favorite thing to do, hill work. What about you?
Well, hill work is something that every athlete doesn't like. There are a few athletes that would say, I like to do the uphill. But of course, again, that is something that you must be able to do when you are running. Whether you are a sprinter, a marathoner, you must do the uphill, where you climb and back. what you do. There, she jumps over the steeple, and then small hill again, gives you the challenges that you face in the cross country.
And what a course. We are at Lobo Village for the second edition of the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country. Last year it was known as the Agnes Tirop Memorial Cross Country. This year it has been named Sirikwa in honor of the tribe of people, the natives of this land. I believe that is the origin of the name Sirikwa.
Yes, and that is why, and I think, the event itself going on here, I believe the organizers will make sure that whenever we have the tour, the cross-country tour, the golden tour that Kenya is hosting, will definitely have to be doing it here, because otherwise it will keep on changing the names. And we hope that, it will maintain the same name moving forward. As we all know, this is the second edition of the golden tour cross-country, which is in the calendar of the World Athletics series.
Faith Kipyegon on her third lap, at the time of about 20:23, as she goes up the man-made hill obstacle. Such power in her legs. She is a force to reckon with. The best ever 1,500 meters the world has ever known.
Yeah, and I know that most people sometimes they feel like, I am sure that most analysts after this would like to be like, if she was able to run the 10 kilometers, maybe she can do better in the 5,000 kilometers. But again, she still remains the best 1,500 meters. She has a huge chance of breaking the world record. And I think if she's going to maintain the same form, she should be able to do better in the summer. Then number 2, we have Zena Yeko on second position, difference of 23 seconds. Jacqueline Chepkoech still in that position. We have Lemngole at the fourth position with a difference of about 38 actually seconds. Kwamboka on 5th place, Cherotich on the 6th, Chepketer and Joka Nyaka on 7, 8 and 9th place. We have Kisor, Jeru 10, we have Chesir at number 12. Coming behind in 1 minute 16 seconds, behind the leader, that is Faith Kipyegon. Chepkoech in 13th place currently. We have Wahoo at 14th place, coming behind in 1 minute 37 seconds, behind the leader, Faith. Kimutai at number 15, Chepkemoi number 16 at the moment.
And at 2020 for the third lap, I think we're on course to achieve about 33 minutes and something. If the splits remain even and she keeps running at this speed, she's going to do a sub 34 minute cross country 10 kilometer race.
The way she's running, I think she should be doing an even race. Because it has been very consistent the way from the time that she started until where she is. So there we have Chepkemboy at position number 28, Chebet, Chemngeno in 29 and 30, following the leader 2 minutes behind the leader. So their Faith still pushing the race. I think before the race, her being a specialist of 1,500 meters, most people would have thought that maybe she was just going to compete, but not necessarily compete in this level that we are witnessing today, meaning that Faith was ready for this event. Faith is in top form, especially for the cross country, and that means we'll be ready for the summer season. We have in position number 43, Chemtai, Chesang, Chepto, Chepkoskei.
And there's what can't Faith Kipyegon do? because she has the second fastest time of all time in the 1,500 meters. After Genzebe Dibaba, she was a few microseconds away from breaking this record. And so that's something she's probably looking to do so this year, to break this year. But she's the second fastest time ever in the 1,500 meters. And she ran this time on the 10th of August, 2022. And she's looking to topple Genzebe Dibaba. What can Faith Kipyegon do? After staying away from cross-country for 5+ years, because the last time she ran across was in 2017, how is it that she's able to perform so well?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to what we just mentioned earlier, that it takes that athlete that is very disciplined, that is always ready, being ready 365 days a year. This is what Faith is telling the world, that it doesn't matter whether it is the season of the cross-country, I can still be able to run the best time. If it is the season for the track period, I can still be able to do it. And that is one athlete that will inspire not only the Kenyan girls, but also women around the world, and especially those who love athletics. And I think for everyone, as we can see, most fans here are starting to follow her, trying to run with her, to encourage her, because this is an opportunity for those fans who love athletics to come and watch these top athletes. Remember that it is not every day that you find Faith Kipyegon running in the Kenyan soil. Apart from training, you don't see her every day running, and therefore many fans would want to see this Olympic champion, world champion, what is she doing here? And I think it's a huge honor for the organizers to have Faith in this race.
And there's been quite some good competition from Ethiopia, from Great Britain, from various other countries in this event, in the 1,500 meter women's race. But I think it's safe to say that the winning is safe with Faith. I don't think Gudav Sege can come close, neither can Laura Muir. But it's a good thing for the sport when people attempt to do great things. Faith has been at top-notch, top-level performance for so many years, and she doesn't look to me like she's going to slow down anytime soon.
Well, I think at the age of 29, she still can be able to do a lot, because remember that especially there's a difference, between men and women. Women tend to do very well at a later age of their lives. If you look at the likes of Vivian Cheriot, she was doing very well at a later stage of her life compared to the time that she was very young. And that is why for Faith, she still have 3-4 more years. And if she chooses, for example, to run maybe a longer distance, as she has proven here, running 10 kilometers, maybe at a certain point when she changed to 5,000 meters, she can still be able to run more years. But for now, she's still a specialist of 1,500 meters. But I think the future for Faith is on another level. The future is good because, one, the most disciplined athlete that we have in the country. They are giving already a distance of almost 200 or 300 meters to the second Zena Yeko. 1 lap to go. Currently, they are in about 8 kilometers with 28.06. Going to the last lap. And there she goes through the haystack barriers.
One of Faith's greatest competitors has been Sifan Hassan from the Netherlands. And Sifan doubles with the 1,500 meters, and she also does the 10,000 meters. How important is it, in your opinion, as a former athlete, to just, pick your event and stick to it?
Well, I think we have few athletes that are able to double. You can mention them if you look back. Sifa Hassan, as you said, she does 15 and 5,000. We have had only maybe Kenenisa Pekele, Eliud Kipchoge when he was running, he would do 5 and 10. It is little bit of a challenge to get an athlete who is able to do double.
Did you ever consider doing 15
Well,
yourself, other than 800?
Actually, for me, most people, they thought that maybe I would move to 800 meters, but to 1500 meters. But for me, I felt that 800 was my specialty. And if you look at the world over, most of the very good athletes in 800 meters, they remain there and just concentrate on the 800 meters. But if we can be able to talk about Faith, I think in the future she would be a very good 5,000 meters. And I think she would maybe draw inspiration from Siva Hassan of Netherlands, that she's able to do both. And now that she has tried here 10 kilometers in a competitive, because there is a difference between running 10 kilometers when you're training and now when you come to a competition. So she has a chance to be able to do. And I think we have had changes in the second and third position, again where we have Jacqueline Chepkoech has come to second, and Zena Yeko has gone to third place. So there has been an exchange between the second and the third athletes,
with about a margin of 2:48 between the first place Faith Kipyegon and the 20th place Chariot. This is the fourth lap of the 10-kilometer senior women's race. Over the haystacks, Faith Kipyegon is looking to make history at the second edition of the Sirikwa Classic right here at Lobo Village in Uasin Gishu County. Not just a beast on the track, but in the open savanna as well. That is a caliber of athlete that we are witnessing here today. Thirty-seventh placed Chepngeno with a margin of 3:44 from Faith Kipyegon. And here she goes over the potted hurdles. And she has been lapping athletes. And it's important to understand that these are all very good athletes.
Yeah, remember everybody who was competing here has been invited, and it means, at certain point they were doing very well. So everybody who is running here is a good athlete, but they have been overlapped. Of course, it's very important for those athletes. It doesn't matter that you have been overlapped, but to be able to finish the race. But again, it tells you the level that Faith is in terms of what we call the shape, the form, the readiness. I think she is very strong mentally as an athlete, to come here. And I think something that I noticed before, they were able to give hydration, water, because it's very important. With this kind of temperatures that we have here in Eldoret, it will be very important to have these athletes hydrate, because otherwise it will be a little bit of a challenge.
And there are some fans at Lobo Village offering her soda. I don't think soda is a kind of drink that Faith wants to use to rehydrate.
Well, of course, talk of fans, they can decide, they can think of anything. They may look at you, they may have the feeling of how hot it is, and therefore, you know what, she should have a soda, maybe.
Maybe an electrolyte drink, but really not a soda. And so that means that you need to have your person stationed to give you water.
Yes, and there she's coming to the finish.
Up the man-made hill, Faith Kipyegon running towards the finish.
And looking behind.
Time right now, still 33.
They are still pushing.
Will she be able to do a sub 34?
I think she should be able to finish sub 34.
Because last year's winner, Joyce Chepkemoi, won with a time of 34:02. So that's the time Faith is looking to beat.
And their Faith has done it, winning in a time of
33:51, a flash time, an official time of 33:51. This woman is incredible. 33:51 is the time she finishes the 10-kilometer senior women race. And with these conditions, with the heat, with the wind, Faith manages to do better than last year's winner, who had a time of 34:02. That was Joyce Chepkemoi.
Yeah, managing to do a course record, and then there, Jacqueline Chepkoech is the winner of the Commonwealth Games, 5,000 meters.
3,000 meters.
3,000 meters, yeah. Jacqueline, second place in 30. In about 33:40, 33:01, 34:01, 34:02 actually.
It should be 34:53 for Jacqueline Chepkoech.
And then Jelanga coming third place. So the three finishers, Faith Chepkoech, Jacqueline Chepkoech, Faith Kipyegon, Jacqueline Chepkoech, and Jelanga finishing 1, 2, 3 podium position.
And those are our podium finishers.
Sena Yeko finishes fourth, Chepketer fifth, Chepkoech sixth, Chesir seventh. And there the temperatures is so hot. That's why most athletes, when they finish and they just want to go down.
But Superwoman, even at 26 degrees Celsius, managed to run sub 4.
Sub 34, yeah?
Sub 34.
Yeah.
Sub 34 in the 10-kilometer event at the Sirikwa Classic.
Yeah, beating the previous win and putting a course record. So it will go now in the coming years, people will want to beat the course record.
We only get a few of these in our lifetimes.
Absolutely.
Faith Chepngetich Kipyegon. And it's an honor to watch.
So, and the winner, I think, would be going home with around $6,000 for the winner there. Replay of how it started. Attacking the first uphill and then the next barrier. The stable without the water, you said.
Steeple with the sandpit.
Yes.
That very, very unique hairpin bend.
Yeah.
Was not much of a challenge for Faith Kipyegon.
And something that has been interesting is that we have had a lot of changes between the second and the fourth place, because at certain point Zena Yeko was in second place. However, she has finished fourth place. It tells you, everybody who was there in the front was really the very top athletes that we have. Yeah, world-class talent. Yeah. So there you have the aerial view. And there, Faith coming to finish the race.
Incredible. The greatest to ever do it. 1,500 meters world and Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon is our champion today, winning with a time of 33:51. She managed to run sub 34, which is pretty incredible. Jacqueline Chepkoech in second position with a time of 34:53. And Zena Jemutai Yego actually is now in third place with 35:09.
Yeah.
Rosalind, go ahead.
Rosalind Chepketer, fourth place. Jacqueline Chepkoech, Gladys Chepchirchir, Daisy Cherotich finishing fourth, fifth, and sixth. And 7, Gladys Kwamboka, and 8, Shamila Kipsiror on 9th, Caroline Nyaga, position 10, with 35:55 minutes.
Faith Kipyegon, Jacqueline Jepkoech, Zena Jimtai Yego. Those are the podium finishers at today's Sirikwa Classic event in Eldoret, Kenya. We are in Kapseret. In 11th place is Caroline Nyaga, Joyce Njeru, Christian Joaquin 13th, and 14th Eda Wahu, Caroline Chepkemoy 15th, Dorothy Kimtai, Lois Mkakisha, Juliet Cherubet, Cynthia Kendi, Teresa Jerotich, all representing Kenya, position 11 to 20. Still very, very good running, because for the top 20, they ran sub 38.
Yeah, and a difference of about 4 minutes between, about 3 minutes and something, between position number 1 and number 20. So it tells you the difference between Faith and the Teresa Cherotich, who was in position 20. To have a difference of 3 minutes. Remember that all these names from number 11 to number 20, they are world-class athletes. However, the temperatures, even if you look at their times, they have done their best, because the temperature here is really hot. Again, if you look at the weather, it has started to, it's no longer windy. Earlier on, it was a little bit windy, which was helping most of these athletes. But currently, the wind is no longer so strong, and therefore it has become very, very hot. It's very important for the athletes in the course of running to hydrate, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit tough. At position number 21, we have Lydia Cheriot, Purity Chepkirui, Esther Chepkemoi, Stella Chepkoskei, Kangoko Hemley, Sena Chepto, Sheila Chebet, Quilin Kiprop, Karen Chebet, Rose Chelimo from that Rose Chelimo actually from Bahrain, managed to finish number 30 with a time of 37:52 seconds. And we have Stella Ruta running for Romania, Kenyan-born running for Romania, chooses to run the cross-country, finish number 24 with a time of 37 minutes.
In position 31, Joylene Chepngeno with a time of 37:55. Winrose Chepkorir, Evangeline McKenna, Judy Jelagat, Marceline Chirono, Marusa Mismas, Slovakia, Jadaida Wanjiko Mugure, Vikoti Chepngetich, Rebecca Chesang, Betty Chepngeno, representing Kenya as well, with a time of 38:55 in position 40.
Yeah, give it to Marusa, being able to run in high altitude under these kind of temperatures and being able to finish the race, because most of the athletes, sometimes they go to such kind of races and then they can't be able to finish because, the temperatures is too hot, they find. But for Marusa Mismas from Slovenia, to be able to finish and with a time of 38, which is still very good time actually. That is the event, the 10-kilometer senior women. At position number 41, we have Anna Shisho, Phyllis Kiprop, Lydia Nyagiseri, Belinda Chemtai of Uganda, Esther Chakobits of Germany, Millicent Nyabera, Kenya, Lovisa Kisa of Uganda, Annette Vokma of Germany, Jelangat and Choli from Kenya did not finish. We have Jacqueline didn't finish, and then I think there was a disqualification, Joan Jelangat. Probably we should be able to understand what exactly happened.
Immaculate Anyangwa Choli, who was the winner at the Discovery Cross Country just a few weeks ago, could she be spent? Was it too much too soon?
Yeah, it could be. It takes a toll. When you just competed not so long ago, but you just come here and get this kind of temperatures, it takes a toll on your body. So that is the aerial view of Lobo Village at Kapseret, Uasin-Gishu County.
And I wonder, when you're a foreign athlete coming into the home of champions in Eldoret, Kenya, you may be slightly intimidated. Were you ever intimidated by anyone in your career?
Well, I think sometimes you do, because, and especially if you are going to compete in an environment that you're not used to. Remember, when you are in Eldoret, you are in above 1,600, about almost 1,700 meters above sea level. So it's a little bit tough. It's again intimidating, as you rightly said. When you come to run in Kenya, you know that this is their home ground. The crowd is behind the athletes. But I think the beauty of the fans that we have is always cheering every athlete that comes here, regardless of which country you come from. As we all know, Kenyans, they love athletics and they love to cheer anyone who is there. And that is why the crowd has been amazing. If you look from here, all the tents that are there, people are full inside. And even across the course, there's so many athletes, there's so many fans that have come to watch this event.
Earlier on, we had the 1 kilometer children's race, and it was incredible to watch. We had boys and girls between the ages of 8 and 10, I believe, who ran 1 kilometer cross country, and what an induction in the home of champions.
Yeah, I think for the organizers it was very important because, as you rightly put it, Manya, we have had a number of races that went on earlier on, that it attracts the kids, anyone, the fun run. It is always very important when you have a competition like this to give a challenge or to give a chance to the upcoming ones to compete, because they would understand that I once ran in an international event and the track.
Yes, a kids event at such fascinating high-level competition is really something special, and it's important because children will never become what they cannot see. So it's important to introduce them to all these things, encourage diversity. We have people from all over Kenya choosing to take part in these competitions, and that can only be good for the sport. I see us growing and becoming an even bigger powerhouse than we already are. And, of course, dealing with the doping menace while we're at it.
Yeah, so I think that's been a very interesting day. And we should be coming to the final event of the day. That will be the 10 kilometers men. One that everybody is excited to finish up today's event. One day that has been, or an event that has been really, really successful at the Lobo village. So the 10 kilometers men should be starting maybe in a few minutes, but just to put up some notable names that will be participating, we have Adrian Bett, who is a specialist of 5,000 and 3,000 meters with a personal best of 8:23 in 3,000 meters. And we have the 5,000 meters in 13:48. We have Kenneth Kemboy, 32-year-old. We have Isaac Kibet Doima, athlete who is based in France, 24 years of age. Those would be some of the notable names to find in the 10-kilometer senior men.
And, of course, including Charles Katul Lokir, who's a national cross-country champion in this senior event. We have the Commonwealth Games 3,000 meter steeplechase bronze medalist Amos Serem.
Yeah, actually, Couture also is a specialist of 10 kilometers, having run 15 kilometers in 43 minutes. He has 21. In 21 kilometers, he has 62 minutes that he was able to do in Berlin. And he has won a number of races. So Logir will be among the athletes to watch in the 10 kilometers.
Absolutely, and he has recently demonstrated that he's in very good form. Charles Katul Lokir. We're going to be looking out for this national cross-country champion. Waithaka Stanley Mboro. 10,000 meter silver medalist in Eugene. That's at the World Championships. Behind Uganda's Joshua Cheptegei. What do you think about the Ugandan threat?
Well, Ugandan
when you're considering Kenya.
Yeah, Ugandan threat actually has been real, and if you look for a very long time in the Kenyan, in the world, the long distance running has always been dominated for many years between Kenyan and Ethiopians, but with the entrance of Ugandans in the recent past, especially with the entrance of Cheptegei, has really made the long distance to be interesting. However, we can still say that it's still an East African affair, but Ugandan seems to be doing very well, both men and women, in the distance, because you have people like Chelimo, who was competing here. She's a specialist of 5,000 and 3,000. Those are notable names, just to mention. Something very interesting, Ugandans doesn't have so many athletes compared to Kenya or even Ethiopia. If you look at the three East African countries, Kenya dominates in the number of athletes they have. But if you look at the Ethiopians and the Ugandans, they have few athletes, but those athletes are very consistent.
Some more aerial shots. What we have been experiencing right here at Lobo Village in Eldoret, Kenya. Uasin Gishu County, the home of champions. A lot of talent on display today and a lot of fun. There was even a fan village, a village for the fans, where they could go play games, listen to music, and really just enjoy the atmosphere of the Sirikwa Classic cross country. And it's been very well organized, in my opinion. The course looks great. The obstacles are interesting.
Yeah,
very hot today, very windy, but quite the event.
Yeah, and I think that is what makes the cross country interesting, because you can have a lot of activities inside the track. I think already the men has already started. This is the 10 kilometers men has already started.
The senior men.
Yeah, the senior men. There they have already started. And the 10 kilometers, just like the senior women, will be doing 5 laps of the loop. There you go, attacking the first uphill.
Right, and there's a lot of talent to look out for. We have Reynold Cheriot Kipkorir, the reigning world under 21,500 meter champion. You have the likes of Hilary Kipchirchir, who was second in the Central Rift Cross Country Championships with a time of 29:54. You have Benson Kiplangat, world under 25,000 meter champion, former national cross country champion. You have Kipleting Jackson, third in the Central Rift Cross Country not too long ago with a time of 30:05. Maxion Kipngetich as well, Central Rift Cross Country first position, a time of 29:30. And like we said earlier, Lokir Charles Katul, someone to watch out for, national cross country champion, reigning national cross country champion. Paul Machoka trains in Keroka, and he clocked a time of 29:31 in his first ever regional title, and he likes to run out in front. We're going to be seeing how the drama unfolds, making sure to keep an eye out for Mburu Waithaka Stanley Waithaka Mburu, 2018 World Under 20 Championship silver medalist in the 5,000 meters. In 2017, he was a World Under 18 Championship bronze 3,000 meter winner behind Seleman Barega of Ethiopia and Edward Zakayo.
Looks like in this race again we are going to witness the Faith Kipyegon race. We have 2 athletes already attacking the first haystack barriers, and they want to make sure that they stretch everybody. They separate themselves from everyone. However, remember that this is 10 kilometers, 5 laps. They are on the course to finish the first lap, halfway of the first lap, and already the two athletes, we should be able to give you the names shortly, already taking the lead and making sure that they try to break from the rest. Hopefully we will not be able to witness what was happened. When they are jumping over the barriers, it is easy to fall.
In first position, I believe, is Vincent Koech, bib number 383. In second position, Central Rift Cross Country Championship, first position, Maxion Kipmiatich. In first and second is Vincent Koech and Maxion Kipmiatich.
Yeah, it looks like they really want to push. There they come to the tent, where they will get a lot of cheering from the crowd and the fans who are here, all lining up. But looks like the second group is a huge number of athletes, and for them they should be able to be looking at the two in front. However, Vincent looks like he's trying to push, because he understands that when he reaches the hill, he needs to attack the hill and make sure that tries to stretch. However, we have all the others following up, so the race is still too early to call. Therefore, the two athletes are still maintaining the lead. Already having finished the first lap, should be going for the second lap. Should be coming towards the first lap. And something interesting to mention is that the beauty of this is all these athletes, they have been able to go around the track itself, because it's very important for these athletes to understand where they are going to have the challenges every now and then. I think they are coming to the second lap, and they have done the first lap at 5:34, 5:39 actually. Still Vincent trying to push, but again, the rest of the athletes are trying to come and catch up as they go towards the second lap, with all the challenges, all the barriers, all the curves that are there. Again, getting a little bit windy again. That's giving the athletes a better feel, because when it's windy, it's far much better off, because otherwise the temperatures is above 26 degrees Celsius. So we have Vincent Koech, Lamayan, Chemutai, Mosin, Kipiwot, Kipmiatich, Koech, Kurui, Kiblagat, Mongole, Rono, Kipia, Komburu, Lokir, Kipliting, Muema, Kibet, Kipto, Mutai, Mwaniki, Kiprop, Kitio, Korir, Mutai, Kipto, Kitonga, Kibet, Njogu, Kiporir, Kibet, Boit, all in the top 30-40 positions, with a margin difference of about 12 seconds, meaning the race is still very crowded. Vincent Koech already gotten by the rest of the athletes, so maybe in the coming course of the race there would be some changes already from the leading group.
And the chasing group has caught up now
with Vincent. And I think Vincent could have taken off too early, and therefore making becoming a pace setter for everybody, and that is what becomes a challenge in a competition, and especially for a cross country, because when you pace for everybody, remember that you will pay the price as you move ahead.
Well, that's unless your faith keep you going. You really should.
But still, Gimnati still is holding on in the front. But the rest of the athletes already are catching up. We have about 8 athletes in the front row, I would say in contention there. They have the water points. It can be a little bit of a challenge to be able to cross the water, because you're so crowded. Probably they will be able to hydrate maybe when the field has a little bit stretched, and they can be able to pick the water. Very good act there. They are giving each other the water. That's a good act of sportsmanship.
Yes, indeed. They've just gone over the haystack barrier. Little haystack bumps. Still fairly clustered together. So this will be an interesting race to see unfold. It's too early to tell. Too early to tell. But with the times that they're running, Bungei, what do you see us running sub 30?
Absolutely. These guys, they should be able to do a sub 30. And if you look at the way they are pushing, because from the start, the advantage that this race will be one of the most fastest ones is when you have an athlete that decides to take a lead and move fast, because everybody will be chasing after you. And if you look at the way Vincent and Morrison Maxon Kimyadit was able to start, gave the pace to be fast. And I think we are witnessing, because already they are in the second lap and they are doing under 10 minutes. So it tells you, Manya, that this race will be really, really fast. We should be looking at sub 30 minutes for the 10K.
We have 12 athletes in the leading pack over the potted hurdles.
And if you look at all the names that we mentioned of those who have done well before are in front.
Right. In through the tent. In through the tent. Fantastic opportunity for fans to get to see the athletes up close and personal. Up the double hill, up the double man-made hill. In first position is Lokir, as Charles Katul, along with Kelvin Kibiwat. So Lokir promised to deliver as a national cross-country champion, and he might just be sticking to that promise.
To be able to win the national cross country, because here in Kenya, national cross country is always very competitive. The whole regions represented tend to compete. The disciplined forces, those who are in the military, those who are in the police, the prisons, the NYS as well, they were all in the national cross country, and therefore they got a selection. And Lokir winning 2 weeks ago tells you that he is in a form of his own and has a big chance. Again, most of the athletes that will be running with him here, he was competing together 2 weeks ago, so they can be able to understand. However, the track in Nairobi where they were doing the national cross country and here is completely two different things, because here is a little bit hot. However, during the national cross country it was, but again, here is altitude. There is a huge difference between Eldoret and Nairobi in terms of altitude, so it becomes a challenge. But again, still 10, 12 athletes in front, each one of them still in contention for the podium position.
Frederick Yeko Domongole, Kibiwot Kelvin, leading the pack. Chemutai in 9th, Kiplagat 10th, Lemayan in 14th, Mboro in 16th, Kipto 20th, Sarem 21st, Moshon in 27th, Kibet 29th, Bergen 33, Kibet 34, Simba 37, Kipchumba in 42nd, Chirchir in 43rd, 44th, Chesarek, Wanyoike in 45th position, Mebratu from Eritrea, I believe, Mogusu 47th, Nyamongo 48th, Lasoi 51st, Yego in 52nd position, Nyambu in 53rd position, and a margin of about 58 seconds between the first and Nyamonge. Moving past the entertainment for this afternoon.
Yeah, having a difference of 50 seconds among the top athletes tells you that, you know, all these athletes are top class, the world class athletes that are here that have chosen to run in this competition. However, we have about still 10 athletes still there. We have some hydration places for people to grab water. That's very important for these guys, because when you're high in such kind of weather conditions, it becomes a little bit tough. It takes a lot of lactic on your body, and that is why the organizers at least have made sure that they put, because when you have a competition of more than 5 kilometers, it's very important to hydrate. But when you are dealing with such kind of temperatures, it is good that they have a water point for every lap that they can be able to go, so that if you are not able to catch the water in the one lap, then you can still be able to do it on the next, because otherwise it can be very, very dehydrating.
What about pouring on yourself water?
Well, it's very important as well, because, you know, when it is so hot as this, far much better. But of course, boring and drinking is far much. However, you will find that the athletes, they are not actually drinking a lot, but you just sip for the sake of it helps you. You don't take a lot of water. So if you see them, they would prefer maybe some would to pour themselves, some would choose to just sip it and then they throw it.
Charles Katul Lokir, Patrick Mosin, those are the leaders of the leading pack.
I think so far we have about 9 athletes from 12 that are still in the leading pack, where it will be difficult for us here to say who is going to actually win. There they come to the barrier and then to the tent, where at least they would get a little bit cool and a different temperature altogether, but just for a few seconds, and then again you enter into the hot sun,
scorching African sun.
So there we have the fans are still, despite the fact that it is so hot here, the fans have remained to watch the athletes from all the way from morning when the competition started with the juniors, the kids. The fans are still deciding to watch and to remain undeterred by the hotness that we are witnessing here in Eldoret at Lobo Village. And the action itself is now starting to take form, whereby the
Kelvin Kibiwot in first position. Lokir not wanting to be left behind. Jeffrey Courier is also in the leading pack. And they're over the steeple, sandpit barrier. the chasing pack.
Yeah, but looks like already the leading group has already made a decision that it is now for us to look at what is happening. And I think, you know, we have most of the Kenyan athletes who are here are in the discipline forces. You know, we have the police, the the KDF, the prisons. Always those discipline forces, Manya, is the ones that are having a bigger number of the top athletes we have in Kenya. For example, Faith Kipyegon is with the police. If I'm not wrong, I'm not sure about it.
Right. Were you in the forces yourself?
Well, no, unfortunately, I was not. I think most people, they thought maybe I was in the police or the military, but I chose to run as a professional athlete. But currently, the discipline forces we have in Kenya, they have made a choice that, you know, they tap to these athletes, and that's why you see some of them, they are wearing their uniform. Now they come to the bigger, the steep hill that we have there, and I think that is Kimngetich already deciding to take a lead. Mosin, Kiprop, Koech, Kibiwot, Kipchirchir, Mutai, Kiblagat, Kitio, all in the leading, about 11 athletes in the leading group with a difference margin of 5 seconds. And that is Kipngetich in the lead, 3 laps, 2 laps to go. That's about 4 kilometers. And there is a lot of changes in the front. Gelfin Kipiwat, Logir, Frederick and Geoffrey Korir deciding to exchange the front running. And I think, you know, for this, they should be able to help each other, because that one they will have an advantage when one leads and then the next one leads, so they are able to help each other. Unlike, for example, when you take the lead and you choose to pace for everybody, it can be a little bit tough, especially towards the finish line.
Indeed, we're on the 4th lap of the last event of the Sirikwa Classic. We're looking at the time. Are we going to be able to achieve a sub-30 run? This is a senior men 10-kilometer cross-country race.
Already they are iterating, something very important in this race. And there we have some of the international athletes that have been able to attend this competition, still deciding to continue the race because it's very important. There to the barriers. The pace is actually changing, Manya, whereby they are increasing the pace and making sure that they stretch everyone. Currently, we still have about 5 athletes in contention, making changes in the front.
Josephat Kiprotich in the lead. And this looks like it'll be a fight to the end. Very, very exciting. Kibiwot Kelvin has managed to be with the leading pack all through. And Kibiwot is wearing bib number 350.
I think 1 lap to go will definitely take these athletes, the 3 of them, or the 4 of them, it will take who has a kick. We all know in the marathon there is no any best kicker than Eliud Kipchoge, you know, when it comes to kicking. So in the cross country, with the about 5-6 athletes, you know, who are in front, each one of them, they know who is very good, and therefore that's when you see some of them, they try to make a fat leg. I think what we have been able to witness in the 10 kilometers, Manya, here is we have been able to witness what we call fat leg. You know, we have seen the slowness, you know, in the competition, and then again you find one athlete just comes in front and make sure that, you know, they try to make the pace fast. So that way, they want to be able maybe to tire their colleagues. And yes, you can see, there is a lot of changes, a lot of pacing, different speeds in the run itself. Despite the fact that there is so many barriers that really can drain energy of your legs and your body, but they are still able to push. So they are still Josephat, Geoffrey and Lokir still in the front lead.
Kelvin Kibiwot as well, the leading pack at lap 4. Last year, Samuel Chebule was the winner of this event, and he managed to clock a time of 29:46. Nicholas Kimeli, 30. Michael Kibet, 30:10. Those are the times that we're seeking to beat. It's always good when you have an event and you get the winner doing better than the previous winner.
Yeah, that is basically what happened in the field of athletics. If you see even today's event, with the events that have already gone on, the winners of last year, they have not been able. But most of the time, somebody who was second has a chance, a bigger chance of improving, because there is always, the challenges that you may have faced during that period. And therefore, coming to the second one, you have learned one or two things as you enter. As you can see, so many fans deciding that it doesn't matter how hot it is. We are going to be just here and watch the event unfold.
And the national cross-country champion, Charles Katu Lokir, grimacing. So I'm not sure if he's in pain, but he's still fighting through it. And the competition is between Lokir, Josephat Kiprotich, Kelvin Kibiwot, Dennis Kipngetich. Up the hill barrier, Lokir attempting to break away.
Looks like Kiprotich, Kiprotich and Lokir in contention. They are coming towards the final lap that they should be coming to.
Dennis Kipngetich in first position.
Yeah, trying
in
to push.
15th place, Lamayan, with a margin of about 38 seconds between him and Dennis Kipngetich. Amos Serem, margin of 50 seconds.
Yeah,
Kipto.
Dennis looks like he's pushing and making sure that he pushes and pushes, because he is aware that one lap that is remaining, he has to make sure that he stretches. But looks like in this race it's going to be among the two athletes, that is Dennis
and Lokir. We're on the last lap.
And there, the water points. Wanted to give to Lokir, but could not.
Dennis Kipngetich, Charles Lokir.
Yeah, something very interesting. The fans, I wish they would be able to understand that they are not supposed to. It is the rules of the world athletics and the cross country that you are not supposed to run
beyond, alongside.
Yeah, and to run beyond maybe 40 meters to 100 meters. So they should be aware.
So it should be 40, anything less than 40 meters.
Yes, exactly. It should be less than 40, even if you want to encourage the
very
person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what the reasoning is behind that.
Because, it is considered that it's giving undue advantage to the person, because when you run along that person and try to encourage, they always believe it is wrong.
So camaraderie.
Yeah, but
doping.
Unfortunately we are in Eldoret, and so many fans are here and they want to encourage their friends, and thus you find that still wanting to try again and say, please go. It may not be something that maybe the others they don't understand, but hopefully maybe in the future they will. But there, Dennis and Lokir still pushing. Dennis. So many fans here wants to run themselves. Manya, you can see everybody. It's difficult to tell who is the athlete and who is the fan.
This is indeed the home of champions.
So it looks like Dennis Kipngetich and Lokir.
And Dennis is looking strong.
But you can never say it is until it is over.
It's not over until the fat lady sings.
They're again getting close, getting encouragement and still be able to smile in the middle of the race.
Lokir is actually, wow. Lokir
Still
takes
smiling.
it up the hill barrier, determination, and the way Kipngetich Dennis is looking behind looks to me like he has accepted the second place podium finish. Charles Katul Lokir, the national cross-country champion, looks poised to win the Sirikwa Classic Senior Men's event. Seems to be accelerating towards the finish.
Yeah, this is a good thing for him, you know, winning 2 weeks after winning the national cross-country. Where again he has competed with Dennis Kipngetich. They are coming to the sandpit barrier and towards the finish line.
Josephat Kipngetich following closely. But really, the podium finish, gold medal position is Charles Katul Lokir. The time now is 29:57.
The national cross-country champion, now the Sirikwa Classic
gold medalist. With a time of 30:13. That's a flash time of 30:13 from Charles Lokir.
Therefore, beating the last year's time.
Josephat Kipngetich in second position. Dennis Kipngetich now in third position.
And fourth is Kipiwot, fifth Kwaech. We have number 6 Kipchirchir, number 7 Kitiyo, at position number 8 Mutai, position number 9 Kiprop, and among the top 10 is Mosin Kiprop at number 11, Kiblagat at number 12, Mutai number 13, with a difference of 40 seconds from Charles Lokir. De Mongole at position number 14, Kipto Lemayan at number 16. There about 20 athletes. At number 17 is about number 1 to number 16 have a time difference of about 1 minute to the winner of today's event, Charles Lokir. Such a scorching sun, and still this guy is being able to run the first time Manya. This is incredible.
Incredible. Charles Lokir, national cross-country champion, is still champion at the Sirikwa Classic, followed closely by Josephat Kipngetich, who was able to get into second position, leaving Dennis Kipngetich to fight for third.
Yeah, and you know, for
all the action that was promised at this Sirikwa Classic, I believe we have experienced.
And the fans have been really, really very supportive. I think there is nothing as important as having a lot of fans, even at the start point, as we can see from earlier on the race, when they were just starting.
I wonder if Stanley Waithaka dropped out.
We should be able to get the results, maybe finally. But that is the action that was going on in the 10-kilometer senior men, when it was still very packed, before Kiprotich and Charles decided to push.
And normally for our major events, we have them hosted in the capital city, Nairobi. What do you think are the benefits of hosting these events in places like Eldoret?
Well, I think cross country would be very much better off if it is done here in Eldoret, because this is an opportunity for the City of Champions to host an international event. Remember that big events may not come here because of logistical challenges that we may face in Eldoret, but for an event like cross country, it's only important that it can be done here. And I think for a long time, putting up the fist and saying that I'm the winner, Charles Lockyer.
Still in excellent form. Doesn't seem to be tired.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is the winners actually. What if you have noticed, most of the time when they win the race, they hardly really go down or something like that. They would still be able to walk around. And if you see, he finishes with a lot of strength. So there we have
the medal ceremony for the senior 10-kilometer women. In third position, Zena Jimutai Yego.
Faith Kipyegon.
In second position, Jacqueline Chepkoech.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was her first cross-country race since 2017. So you can imagine how exciting this is. She was a bit concerned about the obstacles, but she managed them very well. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of our winners.
Running sub 34 in these conditions. Yeah. I can only imagine what she would manage to accomplish if this event was held earlier in the day.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if she may even choose to run a few 5,000 meters during the track season, when it starts in early May, that I think starts from Eugene, before it comes back to Nairobi. She would definitely maybe want to try the 5,000, because after not running the cross country for the last 5 years, so that is what is expected is that she would want to try and run the 5,000 to feel what she would be able to do in the future. So there are the senior men's results from number 21.
Brian Kipto, Dennis Kipkemboi, Jackson Kavesa Mwema, Franklin Gelel, Amos Serem, with a time of 31:41, Kenneth Kimboi, Paul Machoka, Evans Kirui, Kennedy Kipiego, Nixon Chebi, with a time of 31:59. 21 to 30, it's an all Kenyan affair. Just like all the podium finishes we've had this afternoon. 1, 2, 3 Kenya for the under 26 kilometer race, for the under 28 kilometer, for the senior 10 men and women.
Yeah, and looks like over 10 athletes was able to beat the, actually more than 10 was able to, so we have in position number 1 Charles Lockyer, Josephat Kiprotich second, Dennis Kipngetich on third, Kelvin Kipiwot fourth, Geoffrey Koech, Shadrach Kipchirchir, Dennis Kitio, Apel Mutai, Robert Kiprop, Patrick Mosin in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position, all running in 30 minutes.
Sub 31.
Sub 31, all of them, beating the last year's record. So that tells you the group of athletes that we had here today, the shape that they are in. So in position number 11,
Asbel Kiprop, Emmanuel Correa. It's good to see Asbel Kiprop back.
Actually, this is not Haspel Kiprop, the 1500 meter. This is another Haspel Kiprop.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. Emmanuel Correll Kiplagat, also not the Emmanuel Correa of 800 meters,
Yes.
right? So much talent in this county with people with very similar names. In 13th position, Vincent Mutai, Domongole. What a unique name. And it's definitely time for the medal ceremony. In third position, Dennis Kipngetich fought a very good fight and was able to keep pushing to the end. Bronze medalist in the senior 10-kilometer event, Dennis Kipngetich. In second position, Josephat Kiprotich.
And presenting
towering figure.
Yeah, presenting the medals is the PS for sports in Kenya, I think so.
And in first position, national cross-country champion, as well as winner of the Sirikwa Classic Senior Men's Event, Charles Lokier.
Yeah, and something interesting just to mention, Mani, you can see 1 and 2, they are wearing not a traditional flower that you would expect, but this is very common, especially for the locals here. It's in the local language, it's called sinendet.
Sinendet?
Yes.
So you make a grass garland for what?
Well, it's not a grass garland. It's a type of artificial harp, if I may call it, and that is always used during the ceremonies. And therefore, it's a very symbolic when it comes to Elred here, that we are able to have those things. It's just something that just came to my mind, that they decided to ground that with the winner, the first and the second person.
So why did they give one to Josephat Kiprotich? Or is he not from...
Well, no, not necessarily that. Probably maybe they had only 2. Okay. Someone must have run with it, but otherwise all of them should have had it. So it's quite a tradition. And there you are, our podium winners.
Podium finishers, for sure. Charles Lokier, Josephat Kiprotich, Dennis Kipngetich, in that order, 1, 2, and 3. Should be interesting to see how they do on track. This has been the coverage of the Sirikwa Classic World Athletics Cross Country Tour Gold. Fantastic event, fantastic times. Faith Kipngetich definitely the highlight with a sub 34 in her category. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next year.
Sure, thank you so much, Manya, for doing this.
Thanks, Bungay. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for attending the second edition of the Sirikwa Cross Country Classic. My words have failed me. Hosted here at the Lobo Village. Motivate them, please, ladies and gentlemen. Wapigie makofi wale ambao bado wanakimbia.